Is this working? Ah, perfect. Hello to viewers. I've came to explain some things. Since my mind wants to keep forgetting certain things, I thought it would be useful to explain the whole plot of Neo's revenge, seeing that whole thing was deleted due to reasons. Those reasons will be another mess, but mainly because I'm taking some advice of getting rid of failed projects. In my standards, though they were my most popular videos, I believe, on my most happiest days. But to explain the whole plot of Neo's Revenge, basically, Neo started out in a Hatsune Miku Neo Abbey. I did find it. It was quite funny to use. And to how this whole arc happened is basically Neo remembered a thing called the heart. And Eggman, being the dumbass he is, sent Neo to Scrapnik Isles with a lot of Hatsune Miku things and forced him into a Hatsune Miku version of himself. But with how dumb Eggstash is, he kind of forgot one thing to wipe out Neo's memory bank. So Neo knew exactly where to go to get his old body back and powers he could have imagined. Keynote, this was when I didn't know Neo could biodata most organisms. And I didn't know a lot of things about Neo, so most of it was retconned in the final product that are never going to happen. Anyway, back to the point. Neo came to the heart asking for a deal. However, the heart he went to was technically the backstabbing heart he backstabbed to, but came to be a puppet to it again, because it gave him a false promise when he goes to the drifting, a world that I use for where other minds are. I'll explain what minds are later, and to the point. But when Neo made that deal, fucking Eggman was alerted by Mecha, and a few other versions of Metal also came with Eggman and them finding out that Neo went rogue on Scrapnik Isles, and kind of found out he left the tape. They also found out he never left. He was biding his time, and did, in fact, whoop that ass, and whooped most of the units there, and some of them died due to plot point references and natural actors dying in VR, so we just classified them as dead. The one actor we didn't see until certain points, but that's what. Oh, God, fucking tired ass. So after that, Mecha decided to go to another entity that he remembers. He decided to bring two other people with him. Memes and O3. Memes is a yeast entity so far of what we know in the plot, but they went to a mind. A mind is a higher up, higher than the heart. The heart technically created everything in the multiverse. Many of them exist. So do many minds. They're a triangle world. But they also noticed there was a portal. So they went through it, being the dumbasses they are, unfortunately. But they are the fucktards. What do you expect from them? So, after they enter there, they found a suit. The suit being a knight's armor. Yes, I was lazy, but who cares? This armor was the mind. Well, they were in the mind's mind, like the inner prison of his body, what he actually looks like. Basically, they went inside the prison's body of the mind. It gets confusing, I know. But anyways, it revealed that Neo was planning to destroy the whole multiverse. What a shocker! Constantly destroying everything that was created by them. Without any remorse. Just for one simple thing. The deal that the heart promised that never's gonna get fulfilled. Never will. Unfortunate for Neo. To put it simply, the deal that the heart offered is Neo gets a body, it returns him back to normal, to a Mobian, and then when they set off the drifting bomb that I used that word for, then whoever sets off that bomb basically becomes God and recreate anything they want. So basically stating Neo wanted to become God so he can create his perfect world to where he's the hero and Sonic and his friend. Well, not really Sonic. Mainly Sonic and Egghead would be allies, while the rest of Sonic's friends were with Neo, showing the complete reverse. But anyway. Yes, fucking. After that whole explain the deal part, after the mind revealed that the fucktards were going to get a lot of people they had to go against. It was put in riddles, but I was interrupted for it. God, I don't even remember the riddles. Basically, a few actors were going to be coming a key point, each one of them in some way, a way to get to them. One of them was already found, technically being memes, unconventionally. They found him by accident and didn't know he was a part of the prophecy to stop Neo. So that was already one down. But you may ask, what are the other three? Sans the fucking skeleton. Fucking Ari, I think, was the character's name that my husband wanted to play. And the last one, I believe. Wait, yeah, it was a fucking clown. Tricky! That was the one. They were also going to be found. Unfortunately, we never got to those plot points. Only one. I think you can assume who. Anyways, after that whole deal bargain, they decided to start searching for things. Also, in plot point relevance, Sin got taken over by the heart. That was finally freed, the same one that Neo made the deal with. So they're now working together. I skipped that point out because I forgot about it. I never wrote any of this down, nor scripted it, but this video might serve as memory to... per se, actually help out with me remembering if I can do an arc. Hopefully this helps me get an idea of what to do for the arc, even though I dropped Neo. Might work with something. But anyways, after that, we then find out when Eggman was trying to return to his base, he got transported to the TF2 universe, a universe that was nearly collapsed already. Eggman couldn't find out where he was, but he tried connecting to feeds. His network was quite vast, but unfortunately the only connection he could get to was Neo. He questioned it, and then found out it showed him being watched. Unbeknownst to him, Neo sent one of his enforcers, quote unquote. They weren't really an enforcer, more of a mercenary he created. Well, I believe he created, but I think the Heart created. I don't remember most of the mercenaries that Neo has created or enforcers. But anyway, after that, a few other people got to the TF2 universe, where Neo finally got his farm. He was a lemur in the past. That went by a different name than Sylvie, but I retconned that into Sylvie because I remember that. And not the original name that was used because I never scripted it. How unfortunate and a shame for me. So Sylvie, technically aka Neo Metal, got what he wanted through illusions. He used his nanites to create the body he last remembered being in. Unbeknownst to them, the SCP Foundation worked with Neo, mainly one of his mercenaries. He specifically requested a special artifact here, though he had to give money, which would have been useless, because he was technically backstabbing them and leaving them in a universe they were going to be deleted in. Which was unfortunate, because they did hand over the one device they shouldn't have handed over. And then after that, Neo fully arrived, seeing one of his assassins couldn't do the job. So he went hyper, started chasing everyone around to find his bomb. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to him, it was hidden in one of the three of the briefcase in Two Fort. The one map that was technically only available, and the one map I knew I could use legally. But after that, Neo sent another person after another entity. Well, not really. Neo said travel to the Undertale universe, where, thanks to props to everything, a good friend of mine, who did help out with playing the human, that did get their shit rocked after, Sans decided to give them a bad time. But, well, not actually rock them. Sans never got to do the dealing blow. Neo finally appeared through chaos control that I made multiversal, so he could teleport anywhere he wanted to destroy. So he bitch slapped Frisk out of the way, or Char. I don't remember who was out, but details later. So Sans then, thanks Neo not realizing he was fucked. So Sans said, "Hey, thanks for that, buddy. You can go now." Unfortunately, unbeknownst to him, Neo wasn't leaving. He was here for someone else, not the annoying brat that can't reset the whole multiverse anymore. They're knocked out, not dead, but they wish they could. Unfortunately, they won't. They don't have enough determination. Anyways, after that whole universe ordeal, Neo stepped closer to Sans. Sans was worried and checked the LV, which wouldn't work because Neo didn't have a soul. I mean, he technically did, but that was before they knew something so precise. God, my fucking tired ass. To put it precisely of what happened, Sans got to see Neo's LV, which honestly I couldn't put in numbers, so it was basically in a way I would say infinite, because he was constantly having his mercenaries activate bombs in other multiverses, while allowing him to get closer to the bomb that would reset the whole multiverse into his perfection he wanted. Anyways, after that ordeal, Sans got slashed, but was able to make it scot-free after Neo pissed off like the bitch he is, not realizing that Sans survived. So Neo corrected his mistakes by sending a metal unit there, an actual unit that obeys him, and not the heart. Though most Neo-Metal units that were working under Neo-Metal were suspicious of the heart. They did not trust the heart, as much as the heart claimed they would be fine. Unfortunately, the heart created most of the adversaries that Neo used in his collection go against Fucktard. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to them, Shard did complete his objective after which he did die at, but left Sans to rot in the void. Now here's the parts that never got to exist because fucking scheduling and people not showing up for pooling. Or even the event at all, which kinda depressed me. It was originally then, this part is where all the characters that Neo had to go against, to put it in words precisely, had to send him to the void. This was when Ari, my husband's character, was meant to be introduced. When they were supposed to be introduced, after the whole ordeal, after everyone was weakened, with Sans honestly still having the slash he got from Neo, fucking Mecha being in a Scrapnik form, memes having less yeast and less control over it, and not being able to, like, use it as, like, spread, consume, all that. O3 being a lot more wounded. That was when Ari was supposed to just casually walk into the void gathering supplements. They also had Eggman at their base, which was a cozy little bunker. After that plot point, they found their last and final number to stop Neo. After that whole point, they had to go against multiple other adversaries, some created by the Heart, others by Neo. Most of them were after... I think it was Chaos. Most of them were getting other things. They also, I believe at some point, they did get back to the same mine that Mecha, Memes, and O3 talked to. The exact same one that was now outside of his prison. Outside of the mine. This time, he had to give them their last option. Their last final choice. Since Neo finally got to the Grail. Well, not the Grail, the fucking bomb. That is from the Fucktards RP. The Grail is what they recalled it, even though the bomb was my idea. And they did retcon that and rename it. But I don't blame them much. Anyway, after that, mine gave them a speech. I will send you to where Neo is, but unfortunately, you all will be in your final forms. I will give you lots of my strength and send you all there. You all will be in your final. There will be no going back, no return, no nothing. You either finish the job or fail. Basically meaning they could not have access to anything outside of where the mines were. Well, the Council of Mines, where the bomb they created before retcon Nemesis out, but made him exist shortly after. After that ordeal, there were possible endings to exist. Ending 1. They all spare Neo. The bomb goes off, resetting the whole timeline. Neo was God. Yet, he remembered everything. Everything that happened. And got to live his life normally. Didn't go after Heart. Didn't go after anything. Ending 2. They were back at the same point, but they got Neo down just enough to where the Heart could possess him, transforming him into a godly, unholy abomination, as put it. And if the fucktards choose to kill him there or spare him, it is up to them. If they spared him in that form, then the Heart wins. Everything resets, the Heart's God, Neo's dead in his own body that the Heart took over, and most of the fucktards crew is either dead or either in hiding from the Heart's enforcers of its new regime. Ending 3. They spare Neo and expel the Heart out of him. However, due to how much Neo's remembering, he witnessed multiple times he was killed by the fucktards, everything, which led him to destroy them all before they even knew what happened. Which was a bad ending. I think that was one of the endings. I don't remember. But final ending. The true ending. The one when you get all the endings. This was a fun one of mine. So, basically, Neo reveals to everyone they have been in this loop for eternity. They have been here for a certain amount of times. They've seen every outcome. They were tired of it. Tired of the constant drama, everything. They killed the heart way before they even got here. Before even the fucktards did. They killed the heart, made sure they were dead, and then did this whole monologue while the bomb was on a timer. The bomb goes off, yet this time it's different. They all get transported to the one beyond. The one controlling them in this loop. Nilo looks around confused and then lands on me. Not in this avatar, of course. More of a respectful one. Not in the Valentino one. But that's besides the point. They land on Sylvie. Well, technically Dread by that name. That was my old username. We don't talk about it. Technically land on Dread. Dread Knight, basically. The one who was control of everything. They implored Neo to do all these choices, showing Neo had no control over his life. And Puzzles was there for great entertainment, the right-hand man of Dread. Though, of course, this was before SMG4 ended. All this stuff was pre-planned, and this was when Puzzles had his second Puzzles Park, I think. Yes, it was Puzzles Park. And then before the whole weapons thing. But after that, Neo revealed Dread, as I'm going to refer to it. I'm not saying the whole name. Fuck it. Dread Knight revealed to Neo he has two options. Since he gave Dread Knight so much entertainment, he was willing to let him go. Go to his happy ending he so desperately wanted. His perfect world where he was on top and going against Egghead and Sonic. And keeping his friends with him. Or keep his new friends that cared about him deeply to just keep repeating endings over and over until they got the right one. However, unbeknownst to Dread Knight, Puzzles backstabs them, throws all of them into a void again, and then takes control over Dread Knight's palace where they were at, where they were now put back into a loop. Issue being, Dread still had a little bit of power, so he sent all the fucktards and Neo back to his palace to kill off Puzzles. However, Puzzles planned this. He stole multiple inventions of Egghead and advanced them to where even the fucktards were struggling. Then, Dread Knight sacrificed themselves. Wait, no, Neo did. Yeah, fucking Neo did. However, once this sacrifice happened, Puzzles was dead. Everyone was mournful. That was how the scene was supposed to go. Neo died in a heroic way, correcting his mistakes. Everything he did, destroying multiverses, even though they were resetted. Nothing happened. That's when Dread Knight revealed the true piece of information. Neo's never dead. After all, they are still needed. So why kill off one of my greatest people to watch? So, I'll make you an offer, fucktards. You get Neo, you never remember any of this, and we go our separate ways. Though, we will stay connected. Mainly, Neo will, with me. They will retain their memories. The rest of you will not. You won't remember anything. And that was the whole original plot that I had for Neo's Revenge, until I retconned it. Decided to make changes, but all those changes were forgotten, so this is the one I remember. Fantastically, mind you. It is a good plot, but I would have to go back to rethinking what most of the Enforcers' names were. Most of them were unoriginal. Some were actually original, others were not. But, in all honesty, it was fun to think of all this and try and do it with an amazing group of friends of mine. Until Stuff started arising, issues were arising, all that. But that's besides the point. I just thought this would be a great starter video to do while I wait until one of my actors are back from vacation. If you're seeing this, Cherry, have a great vacation. I'll be waiting, especially since you'll be the next villain. Well, that's your username, they're Cherry. Please do not friend them, they are a great friend of mine, and I do not want them to be traumatized. Nor spammed. So please don't. Even though we both have our names in the titles. Anyways, bye bye everyone. I did not. End the fucking recording. I